what we're going to do just for a minute is look at this. This would be your dial pad that you've known, keypad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we've got the 0 there, because that's how it's presented to you. If you'll Google the Tree of Life, and then the Kabbalah pad, it's the same thing, and it is. So if we include in the 0, if we square it off, it's going to be a square. You understand? So if we just cap it off, without the 0, it'd be a square. But with the 0, and you take the pound and the hashtag symbol off, then when you enclose it, it's going to be a 5-pointed star. And you can get other designs that you've seen within your subconscious, whether it's on shirts, symbols, ranks, whatever. It's going to have to do with that. And remember, 5 is going to be in the center. 5 would represent a pentagram. Okay? So, this is what we have to remember is this. So, if we come over here, and then if we break this down, you've played tic-tac-toe. Well, that's where it comes from too. But if you break down 1, 2, 3, that way and add it up, it's going to equal 6. 4, 5, 6 will equal what? 15. And then 7, 8, 9 is 24. And when you break those down, it's going to be 6, 6, 6. Straight across. And then if you come down or up, the sequence will be 12, 15, and 18 when you add up the numbers. You understand? And then once broken down, they will be 3, 6, 9. So what you have is 6, 6, 6, and you have 3, 6, 9. All right, so if the center right here is going to represent 5, okay, it doesn't matter any direction if we cross it or up or left or right, up, down, horizontal, parallel. It'd be the Constantine cross. The cross of Constantine. You'll see this. If you take away that square and that, and then the cross, the X, and then put a circle around it, you'll see that symbol on a lot of churches. It has to do with some ancient shit. But what we're saying is you're going to get 15. Okay? You'll get 15. So 7 and 5 and 3. 3 is 10 plus 5 is 15. 1, 5 and 9. 9 and 1 is 5. 9 and 1 is 10 and plus 5 is 15. 8 and 2 is 10 plus 5 is 15. 4, 5 and 6. 6 and 4 is 10 and is 15. Now, we got to go over here and we've got to figure out what these tarot cards are. So, if we go to the 15th card in tarot, we've got the Devil. So, the 5 is the center of this dial pad. And it is over here too, but when we're looking at it from this point of view, the 5 is even on the outside combined. So, implying it's the Devil. So now what we have is this right here. Just stay with me. This right here is also this. It's an octagon. This right here, but an octagon, if you filled these little shapes in and looked at it, it's a cube. It would also represent a cube with 12 sides, which we'll get into here in just a minute. So when we're looking at the dial pad broke down the way it's supposed to, because it's fucking black magic, it's channels, we get an octagon. That's why UFC plays on the octagon. That's why the Twin Towers, I don't know if they'll tell you now, but when they came down and then they started building the other one, it had an octagonal base. Yeah. Because this has to do with summoning. Okay? If you go look up like real numbers, like 911 is the 156 prime. So only 156 and 1. And the sum of those divisors would be 157. So the sum of those numbers, I'm just using that as an example. So the sum of these right here, okay, is going to be this. All right, now we're looking at it from this a little easier now that we've walked through that. When you add up all these numbers, it's going to be 156. And you have to call 911. 911 is the 156 prime. We've done video after video about it. Okay? But this is a cube. Alright? This is a cube right here. And all these numbers mean everything. Alright? And we can close it off, circle it off, or whatever. But what we're going to do is we're going to stack 3 of these right here, 3 of these dial code numbers, which would turn into this, which is a cube. But if we stack 3 on top of each other, you get 360 degrees. Okay? And remember sequence? We went over sequence right here. You see down there at the bottom of this row, it's got 369, how that breaks down. Well, if we're going to stack 3 of these on top of each other, it's going to break down 369, 369. Okay? And if we're looking at this, what it is, for what it is, 3 dial pads stacked on top of each other. 1 through 9, 999, which is 27, which is the cube of 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. That's a huge ritual number that they do. But when we're looking at 0 to 30 degrees, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, 360. So 369, 120, 1 and 2 is 3. 150, 1 and 5 is 6. 180, 1 and 8 is 9. 210, 2 and 1 is 3. 240, 2 and 4 is 6. 270, 2 and 7 is 9. 300 is 3. 330 is 6, and then 360 is 9. 369, 369, 369, 369. Because there's a sequence there. Because this has to do with the 12 constellations, the zodiac, time. Okay? So when we're looking at that shit for what it is, let's go back through how all this has been fucking summoned here. And then, because this also represents a clock. We can get into the time. You understand? Use your smart mind on like this. Turning. You understand? Turning. Like a wheel would turn. So, this being up there has been summoned down here. Written in fucking pages and shit. But the whole thing is the dial pad. Okay? I ain't got time to get into the dispatcher and all these terms. I will end on this and just leave you like, holy shit. And it's like, yeah. Okay. You know, you've always been taught you need to ask permission. You need permission to do this. Permission. When there was respect taught. Okay, just rearrange per to P-R-E, not P-E-R. So it's going to be a pre-mission. Remember, if we're looking this, we're little bitty demons, we're little bitty homunculus Arimons, and we are. And the way they control us is through what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? So, you know, when we think we're calling somebody, is the same way that we had a channel to the other side. Okay? But you don't understand. Everything in your world that you think is real is inverted. It's not real. What's in here is not real. It's the furthest away it can be. Okay? And every time, you know, this 9/11 is a big ritual. Like, no, 9/11, that shit. And then in January 5th, you had the fake election with Warnock in Georgia that was real big. And then the 6th was the insurrection. So January 1, 5th, and 6th, bam, bam, 156. 9/11 is the 156th prime. It's not hard. It's very easy. And then we can go to on how from the Twin Towers until The Dark Knight Rises was released. That has to do with Saturn. It was 9 something 1 and 1. So years, months, days. 9/11. Because it's you. The ones that put together the dial pads for us created the fucking movies and everything inside your head and all that other shit. They know all about what's vaguely just being shown to you. But this is not a joke. This is fucking real shit. Okay? And nobody will be able to see it. Love you.